Hello family, how is everyone? Welcome. I'm doing a video, our second video in a 4-part series on donor salons. I did the second video about 3 years ago, and it is by far our most popular video. And today we're laying the groundwork for success, because this isn't just about throwing a party, it's about creating an experience that inspires giving and builds community. Because let's be real, a well-planned salon, or what others may call a friend-raiser, sets the stage for everything that follows, right? This video is for everyone looking to host an impactful friend-raising event. This is from seasoned pros to incredible newbies. We'll break down the essential steps preparing you for your salon, ensuring a smooth, effective, and enjoyable gathering. And yes, we'll have our signature quick quiz segments to make sure these lessons really stick. The heart of a successful salon, again, or a friend raiser, is finding the right host. So let's look at finding the perfect partner. And think about this. What if the right host can multiply your fundraising effect? All right, now let's dive into finding and recruiting those amazing hosts. Okay, let's ask ourselves, what makes a good host? I'll give you a couple characteristics that makes up a good host. Number one, you want a person that is a supporter of your program, someone who already supports it. Number two, you want a person that has a nice circle of friends and connected to a lot of acquaintances. Number three, you want someone who has a very nice home where individuals want to come and visit. Those are the primary characteristics you want for your host. The best way to think of this is think of someone who already likes to entertain, throw parties, and have a good time. Those are the individuals you want to look for, who are supporters, as I said before. Now, the next question is how do you approach them? Well, you want to start with individuals in your inner circle, loyal supporters, volunteers, and board members. And the way you reach out to them is a personal phone call or a coffee meeting, which is far more effective than an email. Incentives and support are key. You want to provide them with all the tools they need to succeed. We like to put together a host kit. That would include the invitation letter, so it's sort of a template. We would also include what is a salon. We send that to them so it sort of answers their questions. And then we also put together a mock agenda for the evening, so they're able to get a pretty good idea of what the event looks like. For more information on how to put on an actual salon, check out this video on how to find 200 new donors in 12 minutes. It will give you all the nuts and bolts on the actual salon itself, or as I say, friend raiser. Okay, this brings us to our first quick quiz, and there are 2 questions. Number 1, what are the top 3 qualities of an ideal salon host? And number 2, how can you make potential hosts feel supported and confident? Leave your answers in the comments below. Next, we want to look at defining your friend-raising goal and message. Clarity is key, so let's define what we want to achieve with our salon. What if focusing on a message that could light a fire in your attendees? Okay, let's talk about setting your goal and crafting your message. So what needs are you addressing? A general invitation is less effective than a focused one. Case in point, instead of come learn about our organization, try help us expand our mentorship program for at-risk youths. Crafting a compelling, concise ask is crucial. So please keep it simple, emotional, and urgent. Now consider this. By visiting our center, you'll see firsthand how we're changing lives, and your support can help us reach even more people. That's powerful, emotional, and urgent. And remember to align your message with the organization's mission and values. To illustrate, if you're a community development organization, emphasize the impact on the neighborhood. And this brings us to quick quiz number 2. And there are 2 questions. Why is it important to have a specific goal for your salon? And make sure you focus on visits rather than funds. And then number 2, what are the key elements of a compelling invitation to visit? Leave your answers in the comments below, and I'll try to answer as many as possible. Now, next we want to talk about creating engaging materials. Now, we need to make sure we give your hosts the tools and materials they need to connect. What if the right tools and materials can turn your attendees into lifelong supporters? All right, now let's talk about materials that inform and inspire. Impact stories are powerful. Share real-life stories of how the organization is making a difference in people's lives. Take, for example, a short video testimonial or a written story with photos. Program information should be clear and concise. Highlight key achievements and future plans. And in this case, a brochure that highlights programs and its impact. Donate options should be clear and concise as well. But remember, this is a Friendraiser. This is not a fundraising event. So do not highlight donations at this juncture. Your goal is to get your attendees to come down and visit your facilities. That is your goal. So you want to have options for people to donate in your materials, but for this salon/Friendraiser, that is not your focus. FAQs can address common questions and concerns, but be prepared to answer anything from where does my money go, or is my donation tax deductible? And this brings us to our 3rd quick quiz. There are 2 questions. Why are impact stories so important for a fundraising event? And true or false, the goal of a salon is fundraising. Leave your answers in the comments below. Next, we want to talk about developing a guest list strategy. The right guests can make all the difference. So we should strategize about who should be there at the Friendraiser. What if a carefully curated guest list can unlock a new wave of support for your organization? All right, so let's talk about who should be on the guest list. The first thing you're going to want to address is who should the host invite? And they're going to ask you that question. And you're going to tell them, invite their closest friends who might be interested in the cause that we're raising funds for. But tell the host to let them know this is not a fundraiser. This is just an event to tell people what this organization is doing and to see if they're interested in being engaged. That's it. In fact, you tell your host to tell their friends to leave their checkbooks at home. This is only an information session. So you're going to want to encourage the host to invite their friends, their family, their business acquaintance, individuals they work with and respect, individuals that might be interested in this cause and that have a capacity to give. Now you're going to invite the other 50%. So the host is going to invite 50%. You're going to invite the other 50%. So what you're going to do is you're going to look for donors, supporters in the area of the host's home. You're going to reach out to the largest donors on that list, and you're going to invite them to an information gathering about your organization, talking about the programs that you are delivering in the community, and tell them to leave their checkbook at home, that this is not a fundraiser. This is simply a Friendraiser. Remember, this is not just for new donors. This is also for donors that are supporting you now, but don't know as much about what your organization is doing as they could know. And so what this Friendraiser or salon does is it deepens their understanding of what you're doing in the community and the impact that you're making and the gap of how much more you could be doing if you had more support. And diversity is key. Have people there with different backgrounds if possible, with different economic status. You want individuals that are sort of diverse. So you want a nice mix, a nice salad, as we would say, because there will be a question and answer session, and some people will ask questions others will not think about. And those questions are often so important because some people from a different socioeconomic point of view may not think to ask a question about a food desert, or ask a question about single parents, what might be affecting single parents. So make sure you have a nice diverse group there. And also, more importantly, make sure you let the hosts know that some of the beneficiaries will be there, individuals that are benefiting from the programs that you're instituting. So individuals can ask them specific questions about the program. And so this brings us to our fourth quick quiz. And there are 2 questions. Let me start. Why is it important for the host to invite people from their personal and professional network? And number 2, what are some factors to consider when targeting potential donors? Leave your answers in the comments below, and I'll try to answer as many as possible. Next, we're going to talk about logistics and planning. Now, let's get into the details. Planning the logistics ensures a smooth event, because what if attention to detail creates an unforgettable experience? All right, let's talk about the nuts and bolts of the event. Date, time, and location are crucial. So make sure you choose a date and time that works best for the host and most guests. You don't want to select Super Bowl Sunday. Case in point, an evening event on a weeknight or a weekend afternoon event. And consider the ambiance. Create a warm, welcoming, and intimate atmosphere. Consider this: soft lighting, comfortable seating, and maybe some soft background music. Refreshments should be easy to manage. So take, for example, drinks and appetizers that don't require lots of fuss. And you want to plan the flow of the event. You want to structure the evening so there is some mingling, there's a presentation, and then there is the ask. And again, the ask is to ask individuals to come down to visit your facilities in action. And in this case, consider a social hour, a brief presentation, and a time for question and answering, and a time to ask them to come down to visit the facilities. And now this brings us to quick quiz number 5. There are 2 questions. What are the key factors to consider when choosing the date and time of the salon? And number 2, why is ambiance important for a friend-raising event? Leave your answers in the comments below. Now we're going to talk about pre-event communications and reminders. Make sure you keep everyone in the loop. Communication builds excitement and ensures attendance. What if tiny reminders can significantly boost your turnout? All right, let's talk about communication with your host and attendees. Make sure you keep the host informed every step of the way. Provide them with updates, answer their questions, and offer them significant support. By way of example, make sure you schedule regular meetings where you and the host check in on the goings-on of the planning for the salon. Make sure you send out invitations well in advance and include all essential information, everything from date, time, location, RSVP information, everything. And make sure you send out reminders to all attendees. A week before and a day before are good intervals. A good example is to send out an email or a text reminder to confirm their attendance. Generate excitement. Share snippets of impact stories or highlight what attendees can expect. To give an idea, a sneak peek at a program or a short story from a beneficiary. Okay, now this brings us to quick quiz number 6. There are 2 questions. Number 1, why is it important to keep the host well informed throughout the process? And number 2, what are the key elements of an effective event invitation? Leave your answers in the comments below. Next, we want to talk about setting the expectations of the host. Clarity is crucial. Make sure your host is confident and prepared? What if clear expectations empowers your host to shine? Okay, let's talk about setting expectations with your hosts. Clearly outline the flow of the event. Make sure they know what will happen and when. And the best way to do that is to provide a timeline and an agenda. Discuss the ask in great detail. Practice how it will be presented and who will deliver it. For instance, role play different scenarios and provide talking points. Provide guidance on handling questions and objectives. We want to provide them with answers and resources. For illustration, provide the host with a Q&A sheet and contact information for following up. But most importantly, let them know that they're not there alone, that you're there as a partner and you will answer most of the questions. In fact, when there are some questions that they can't answer, jump on the phone with them and answer the questions for them. You are their backup, and most importantly, set expectations to follow up. This is key. Because remember, our primary ask is to get the individual attendees to come down and visit the facility. So we have to follow up. This is not going to happen at the event, but after the event. So we must set the expectations with the host that we are going to follow up and we're going to get everyone that we possibly can down to the facility to see it in action. So we will show the host how we will thank the attendees for attending or trying to attend. And finally, we come to quick quiz number 7. There are 2 questions. Why is it important to provide your host with a detailed event timeline? And number 2, what are some strategies for preparing the host to handle questions and objections? Leave your answers in the comments below, and I'll try to answer as many as possible. Thank you for joining me today. And remember, careful preparation is key to a successful friend-raising event / donor salon. By focusing on these essential steps, you can create an event that raises friends and builds lasting relationships. Let's continue to create meaningful experiences together. Now, if you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe. And more importantly, share this video with other nonprofits who need this information to grow. And if you'd like some information on the actual salon, like, for example, the agenda, or what is a salon, or a mock invitation to a salon, please reach out to us at info@wearenfm.com. That's info@wearenfm.com, and we'll make sure to send you that information. And for more information on friend-raising events and connecting to inspire new donors, check out the video above, hosting a friend-raiser to connect and inspire giving. Let's continue to build strong relationships, and may your next friend-raising event be a huge success. And so until next time, keep building with purpose, keep working in miracle territory. We'll see you soon.